missing for a year and a half from Worthing. Andrea Gharsallah went missing from her mum's home in Worthing in March of last year. Now, back in October, just a couple of months ago, the award-winning investigative journalist Donald McIntyre told me that he's now working with Georgina's family to help try and find Georgina.
We were contacted by the family and friends of the family to help out. 18 months or so has gone by since she was heard of and footage, any CCTV was seen of her. And there has been, problems with the police investigation. Family have reached out, and myself and a number of investigators and experts in the crime field, we take on 1 or 2 cases a year pro bono to try and see if we can help out and assist. I'm delighted that I've got Steve Langridge and ex-police officers producing a series of podcasts with us. We've got Clive Driscoll, who solved the Lawrence inquiry, now retired, Professor David Wilson, all have come on board to kind of fill the gaps and to explore those areas which we think need exploring to find some answers which have proved so elusive, even for all the best efforts of the local police.
Well, as we approach Christmas, Georgina's mum, Andrea, and podcast producer Steve Langridge are with me in the studio to give us an update. Good morning to you both.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Andrea, what's it been like 18 months not knowing where Georgina is?
Distressing, overwhelming, but we have to keep on every day, keep on with hope, keep on trying to find ways to keep Georgina's story out there, trying to get media appeal, and sometimes it's been a big fight. It has been a big fight all the time to try and keep. That's the most important thing.
If people don't know about her going missing yet, tell us a bit about her.
Georgina went missing I last saw Georgina on the morning of 7th of March 2018. I was getting ready for work. I said goodbye. She said, "I'll see you later. I love you." And she was going to the town to do jobs and things that she had to do.
How old is she?
She was 30 when she went missing. She's now be 32.
She has children?
She's got 2 children, yeah.
How is that for them, your grandchildren?
I don't really understand, I don't think, what the impact of missing really is.
But they know Mum was there one morning, and then she wasn't.
Yeah, they do.
So you got your own questions, your grief that you're dealing with, plus looking after them and reassuring them. That must be very difficult
it's
for you.
It's sort of a never-ending grief, I think, really, because there's no answers, and it never ends. So each day, comes and goes, and we're still looking for answers. And there isn't any, and the grief is there, and it's, I have to keep strong. I've got 3 other daughters. I've got my grandsons, and, you have to carry on with everyday life, your job and everything else.
But it must be all pervading. It take up all your time, or be on your thoughts all the time.
Yeah, it is. It's become, finding Georgina, it became a job, really, for us all. And, we're really grateful when Steve and Donald and they brought Clive along as well when they came on board to, try and help us as well. And we're really grateful for that.
We'll talk about the police investigation in a moment, but Steve and Donald's involvement in this as well, there's something new you can add today. So what have you released today?
Well, today we've released a reconstruction of Georgina's movements on the day that she went missing on March the 7th. It's something that the family, that Andrea was asking for initially to the police. They decided not to do it, so we said we come in and do it. We're used to making films, we're used to reconstructions, so we took advice from a number of experts around making reconstructions, and that will be released this morning.
You can see that on our BBC Sussex Facebook page. So this is a video reconstruction with somebody that looks like Georgina?
Yes. I mean, it's quite...
Yeah,
it's quite striking.
Is that quite upsetting for you?
It was when I met her. Initially, the first moment I saw her, I was a bit, and then it wasn't until they started filming and I saw the girl walking past in various poses and,
in clothes that you'd be familiar with, Georgina's type clothes.
we got everything that Georgina was wearing, the same coat, shoes, bag. The girl had had her hair done exactly like Georgina, and it sort of hit me then. And when I spent different poses and things, I saw her from the side, and I kept looking, and I just thought you could be Georgina. I don't think we could have got another actress that looked more like her.
Steve, talk us through what we see in the reconstruction. What does it show us?
It shows us what we know, what we can verify initially. So we take Georgina from the moment that she's getting ready at home, and then we follow her on her likely route towards Clifton Road, to the Clifton Road shop where she was seen on CCTV. The CCTV images are included within the reconstruction. We then follow her from there, but then there is a period of 6 hours where we don't know where she was. So we then next see her around 6 hours later in Worthing Town Centre, which is also shown within the reconstruction, the actual CCTV, where Georgina was seen with an unknown female, and we portray that, and we just show Georgina within the surroundings that she may have been. We just ask that people watch it, and we hope that it may trigger somebody's memory.
From 18 months ago, from March 2018, two women walking through Worthing Town Centre is not unusual. I mean, quite unmemorable, in fact, which is part of the also what struck me from watching the reconstruction. So there's what you filmed with your actress, but the actual CCTV just equates to a few seconds, really, doesn't it, from the shop and from Worthing Town Centre 6 hours later. And here we are thinking we're surveilled the whole time, but that's the only time she was picked up on CCTV. Were you fairly sure about that?
We're very sure about that. Unfortunately, a decision was made previously to not review the CCTV evidence within the town centre fully. So the short piece of CCTV that you see in the town centre is all that remains. And once that was found, it was great that was found, but all it did was highlight what's been lost in the meantime.
So the police are investigating your daughter's disappearance.
Yeah.
What are they saying to you, Andrea? Where are they at?
Well, I think about 3 or 4 months ago, we had a meeting, and they said we've been advised to record this as a homicide, that this is where we are. But of course, we're still hoping that Georgina turns up, which doesn't give us much.
Why have Sussex Police recorded it as a homicide? Did they tell you why?
Due to no leads, no lack of, no evidence of anything. But they said it points more to homicide. But I don't accept that, because...
Well, that's very final when we don't know how final.
Well, that's final for me, but I said I can't accept that with no evidence. You have no evidence at all, nothing. I mean, it's not as if somebody come forward and said, oh, I saw a girl that looked like her being bundled into a car and she was struggling. We have nothing of that at all. Nobody said, oh, I think I found her jacket somewhere in the,
Steve, you're a former police officer. Give us your take on that.
We understand that there are issues around investigating missing people. Sometimes it's very difficult. I think the main concern that Andrea has is the lack of communication between herself and the police. And
I don't quite understand that. Why is that? She is obviously not here when she was the day, the 7th of March. She was very much around, and now she's not. So why aren't the police interested?
We're not saying they're not interested at all. We're just saying that there were some decisions made early on to focus a search in a particular area around the Clifton Road area, which means that we may have missed some evidence that was further afield. Bearing in mind she was seen in the town centre that day, we know she was there, but unfortunately due to that time delay between the two CCTVs, we've lost a lot of evidence.
Help me understand this. What's the impact of Sussex Police saying we think this is a homicide?
The concern for us is that as soon as we say, it gives us finality, and that people will stop looking. People will stop thinking, they will just assume that it is a homicide and that there's no hope that we'll find Georgina. So that's the concern, and that's the reason for the reconstruction.
But also, if it's a homicide, somebody's killed her. Where are they? Where's the investigation of who they are, why they did it and where they are now, and being brought to justice so Andrea can have closure.
No, exactly, and that's what we're hoping for. We're hoping that new information will come out. Andrea hopes every day that she gets some more information, and that's what we hope with the reconstruction, with the podcast, that we generate and keep Georgina in the public's mind.
But the podcast isn't scheduled to come out until the spring of next year, maybe 3 months away from now?
Yes, that's right.
That's another 3 months worry and not knowing for you, isn't it, Andrea?
Yeah, it is. Every day is an extra day of worry for us, and distress, for all of us as a family.
Okay, let's hope that this is not a homicide and she's gone missing. How likely do you think that is?
Knowing Georgina, knowing how close she is to us, we're very close. She's very close to me. Georgina was the type of girl who would borrow someone's phone to contact me if she didn't have a phone. So I just find it really hard to think that she'd gone missing of her own accord.
There was nothing going on in the background that you can sort of think, maybe that means she had to leave for whatever reason.
Nothing that I know of, nothing I'm aware of, but I still think whatever, even if that had been a possibility, I believe that Georgina would have contacted me anyway by anything, even through somebody.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, Mum, I can't be around a minute, but let the kids know I'm okay.
Yeah. I just do. I know her. I know the way she is. Georgina would send me a message in the middle of the night at 2 or 3 in the morning, just to send me a heart and say I love you, and that's the way she was.
Yeah.
So I can't believe it's 21 months now, and we've had nothing. I mean, I don't want to believe that it's a homicide. I know it's a possibility. I understand that.
Of course, if you believe it's a homicide, there's no hope.
But for me, we've got to keep. We have to keep the hope.
Other things, mobile phones. What was the last ping from a mobile phone, Steve?
Unfortunately, that was early in the morning on the day that she disappeared. She was having a problem with her mobile phone. She was actually on her way to go and buy a new mobile phone. So there is nothing that we're aware of. The last one was around mid-morning on the day she went.
That's a strange coincidence, isn't it? Because people can carry mobiles for months and months and months, but to have a problem with it and go missing on the same day, that seems odd.
She'd had a problem with it all week.
Right.
It had been it wasn't charging, the battery wasn't charging sort of for the week before, and so her dad had bought her one, but he hadn't managed to sort of see her to give it her. And I gave her an old one that morning. I said maybe you can use this, but her SIM card didn't fit into that one, and that's why she said I'm going to go to the mobile phone shop, which she never got to.
Right.
The shop in Clifton Road, it was just sort of a general store that sold, and she asked him about them, and he advised her to go to a proper mobile phone shop.
Okay, so the reconstruction video is going up on our BBC Sussex Facebook page, so find BBC Sussex on Facebook, try and have a look at the video if you can. If you're in the Worthing area, it might trigger something. You might perhaps recognise Georgina, or maybe the other woman she was walking through in Worthing Town Centre 6 hours after she went into the little shop that Andrea just mentioned. Is that right, Steve?
Yes, that's correct. This person that Georgina was with has never come forward, has never been identified, never contacted the police, so we really need to know.
Again, as a police officer before, what do you think about somebody who was with Georgina, so they obviously knew each other in some way, and then she's never come forward?
Yeah, and it makes you wonder whether she was involved in the disappearance, knows about the disappearance. It's just another mystery. And
do you have to keep open the thought that the two of them might have gone together?
There's always the potential for that as well, so we don't want to close any of that down, but it's just...
But you don't recognise her as a friend of Georgina, somebody she knew?
No.
Worthing isn't the biggest town in the world, is it?
It's not. But nobody's come for. Nobody's said I recognise her, this girl. Nobody at all. I mean, the whole thing is a mystery.
And so here we are a week before Christmas, which is not going to feel like that in your house. How do you kind of keep going, Andrea, for yourself, for your other children, for your grandchildren?
We still prepare for Christmas, but last year we all bought presents for Georgina still. in the hope that she might just turn up. You know, we have to keep that hope, and that she would feel included if she, you know, if she just happened to turn up on Christmas Day, that we'd still thought about her. And so we all brought presents, which we'll do this year. And we've also, with Steve and Donald, they've created the empty chair campaign.
What's that?
What we're asking is for people, and this is for all people missing at Christmas, is to decorate an empty chair and to share that on social media with the hashtag EmptyChair2019, just to show that people missing at Christmas, they're still thought of, because there is going to be an empty chair at dinner tables over this period, something that Andrea and her family have to go through again this year.
Off the top of your head, how many people might that be in the country that are missing, do you think, at one time?
There are thousands and thousands.
I think on the missing persons website they say that around 250,000 people go missing a year. At one time, I'm not sure the figure of sort of.
And some of those will turn up, you know, maybe a couple of days or a week later.
Yeah.
Others will continue to be missing.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. There are some high-profile cases out there where people have been missing for years. The people aren't giving up hope, so it's just a way to remember the people who are missing at Christmas for their family.
It must be the not knowing, Andrea.
It is, yeah. It is.
Well,
and you know, if anybody, we just constantly ask if anybody has any information. You know, think if it was you and how you would want to know. You know, anything that they can get through on the Operation Parvo line. They can contact the missing page. They can tweet Donald.
if people know there's plenty of ways they can get in touch.
There's lots of numbers, the missing persons number, you know, but we're just sort of appealing to people all the time, please help, because, you know, it's the worst thing, you know, living your life like that every day.
I hope you get news soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Steve, do stay in touch with further developments. Thank you for bringing us the reconstruction, so we can show that today on our Facebook page, and keep us in touch with any further news you have. Is that all right?
Yeah, that's brilliant. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Steve Langridge and Georgina Gharsallah's mum, Andrea, with me on BBC Sussex and BBC Surrey.